You ever been in one of those conversations that just goes completely off the rails? Where someone gets super emotional, they start yelling, and you're just left there feeling totally drained and confused? Well, today, we're going to dive deep into the psychology of those exact moments and figure out the smartest, absolute best way to respond. So, I want to kick things off with this statement from our source material that's kind of shocking. Being scolded repeatedly can make a person dumber. Now, that sounds really extreme, doesn't it? But there is a powerful neurological truth hiding in there, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack. See, when you're under a verbal attack, your brain just shifts. It goes into what we call defense mode. It's pure survival instinct. All your mental energy, all your resources, they get rerouted to one single mission: protecting yourself. There's just no room left for learning, for being creative, or for feeling any joy. That energy's just gone, totally spent on defense. All right, so to really get what this feels like, let's walk through a story that just perfectly captures this whole thing in the real world. I have a feeling a lot of us have been in a situation like this. It all starts on a campus shuttle bus. The author swipes their card, it looks like it worked, but then the driver just suddenly starts yelling, "Didn't swipe, swipe again." You'd think, okay, simple problem, simple fix, but nope, it escalates, and it escalates fast. So as the driver's yelling gets louder and more just vicious, think about the physical reaction that's happening. The body starts trembling, cheeks are burning hot, your stomach is just tied up in knots. This isn't just you feeling upset. It's a deep physiological response. Your brain's mirror neurons are firing, basically copying the attacker's anger. But you've got nowhere to put it. So all that energy gets trapped inside, and it just turns into pure stress. And then comes the final blow, something that is completely out of left field. The driver compares the author to his daughter, his highly educated daughter, and calls them low class. I mean, it's so personal, it's completely irrational, and it has absolutely nothing to do with a bus fare. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? When someone is that far gone, that emotionally out of control, is there any point at all in arguing, in trying to prove you were right? The answer is a hard no. Why? Because this was never really about you to begin with. So, what is really going on in a moment like that? Well, we're walking right into what psychologists call the projection trap. The big idea here is emotional projection. Okay, what is that? It's when a person takes all their own negative feelings, their shame, their anxiety, their own feelings of incompetence, and instead of dealing with it themselves, they project it. They literally throw it onto someone else using blame and insults. And this breaks it down so perfectly. It's a simple, ugly mechanism. Step 1, the attacker feels bad about themselves. Step 2, they can't handle feeling that way, so they launch that feeling at you like a weapon. And then step 3, you end up on the receiving end of an insult that was never, ever actually about you. They're just offloading their internal junk onto you. And here's where it gets really, really dangerous. If you're around this kind of thing over and over, their voice, this shadow voice, it can start to sound like your own voice. You start to internalize all that criticism. You find yourself asking, wait, did I do something wrong? Am I really that bad? Their projection becomes your inner critic. The damage isn't just psychological. There are actual physical changes happening in your brain. And this is where it gets really fascinating. When you're under constant verbal attack, your brain is basically in a state of civil war. Your amygdala, that's your emotional center, the home of fear and anger, it goes into total overdrive. It's like a volcano that's just constantly erupting. And at the exact same time, your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles logic, reason, focus, it gets suppressed. It gets shut down. Fear literally hijacks your ability to think clearly. And the consequences of that neurological state, they're very real. You get jumpy, easily startled. It's hard to concentrate. Your memory starts slipping. You feel tired all the time, just this chronic exhaustion. And maybe you can't even sleep well at night. Sound familiar? This isn't just in your head. This is your brain stuck in defense mode, and it is completely and utterly exhausting. Okay, so we get the problem. We've seen the story, we understand the psychology, we even see what's happening in the brain. So what on earth are we supposed to do about it? Let's get into the solution, the smartest response. The source material gives us this brilliant and really simple 3-step toolkit to protect yourself. It's awesome. First, stop blaming yourself. Second, regulate your physical body. And third, build up your mental defenses. Let's quickly break these down. Step 1. This is absolutely the most critical first move you have to make. In that moment, you have to stop the self-blame. Immediately. Look, even if you made a tiny mistake, it never, ever justifies an abusive outburst from someone else. You can think about it later, sure, but right then and there, your only job is to refuse to accept the blame for their emotional explosion. And that brings us to maybe the most powerful tool of all, cognitive separation. Think of this like building a mental firewall. You actively, consciously create a space between their words and your sense of who you are. You remind yourself over and over that their attack is a reflection of their personality, their problems, and their worldview. It has absolutely zero to do with your value as a person. So choosing not to engage, to not argue back, that isn't being a coward. It's not weakness. It's actually an act of incredible intelligence and self-preservation. You are choosing to protect your own mental peace, your own integrity, and that is a massive show of strength. And that really leaves us with this final, powerful question to think about. When you're in the middle of that storm of negativity, you have a choice. You can listen to the irrational, angry voice of the attacker, or you can listen to the quiet, rational voice inside you that knows your own worth. So the question is, whose voice are you choosing to believe?